the issues C and D. Gaurav, please.
So, sir, next, I think after we have the benefit of the decision, the next important question or issue arises: what happens to those notices which have not been quashed or which were not part of the writ petitions before the High Court? Now, Delhi High Court has given declaration of law. They have held explanation to be ultra vires, and they have quashed the notices which were part of the writ petition. But now there's a decision from the Delhi High Court, and it falls in the jurisdiction. At least it is binding for in the jurisdiction of Delhi. So, sir, question is, what would happen to notices which have not been quashed by the High Court? Shouldn't the decision of Delhi High Court is binding on the assessing officer, and therefore if that objection is raised before the AO, he should himself drop the notices, and there should be no requirement to challenge those notices specifically by way of a writ petition before the High Court. Isn't the Delhi High Court decision binding on the AOs as well, and therefore on an objection raised by the assessee, those notices should not be dropped? So, sir, what is your view? I'll raise this query first to Dr. Rakesh Gupta ji, and then the other experts can join in, please.
Again, Gupta sir, before you answer, I'll just like to add one point to what Gaurav has raised, specific to query D, because C and D we are taking together. So let's suppose this issue is raised before the assessing officer, and he passes an assessment order that, look, respectfully, I agree with that there's a Delhi High Court, but since we have filed an SLP, so to keep the interest of revenue alive, he passes an assessment order. Please, we like to see guidance of yours whether that will be a contempt also, because contempt as defined has to be a willful disobedience, and the way the courts have said, it has to be a willful breach of directions of the court, and it must be willful, clear, and unambiguous. So please, we'll need your guidance on that also.
Normally, the relief sought by a petitioner by way of writ before the High Court, and the relief allowed to the petitioner by the High Court is considered as a relief in personam, and is not considered as a relief in rem. But at the same time, what Gaurav has raised is very pertinent, that after declaration of law in such clear, explicit, and unambiguous manner, now what can be the argument for the departmental authorities within the jurisdiction of these high courts to say that they will not follow it, unless, of course, the operation of these decisions are stayed by the Supreme Court? Because what I foresee is the first and foremost thing which the department will do is to seek some interim order from the Supreme Court by way of stay on the operation of all these decisions. So those cases where the SSEs have not gone in for writ, definitely they will have to undergo the churning process of assessment, raising this plea before assessing officer. And assessing officer, in my respectful submission, should be bound by this unless the operation of these decisions are stayed. And in case it is not so followed, then of course, I mean, as you made a mention of contempt, according to me, this will be not to follow would be an act of contempt. It would be contemptuous. So, I mean, this is what my take is, that having regard to the entire language of and the ratio decidendi and the substance of this decision, the assessing officer now should be bound by the dictum of these decisions.
So, sir, shouldn't those assessee file a separate writ petition in High Court?
No, they should file in case they want to avoid all these hassles that assessing officer not acceding to their request and then throwing you, passing assessment data, throwing you before the appellate authority. If they want to avoid those kind of hassles and they want to go in for certainty, that they must file as early as possible the writ petition to the High Court.
May I call in Vedji for his views on this particular question?
See, I agree with Rakesh, what has said Rakesh, but one should look at the practical aspect. There, see, three issues, in my opinion, are right. One, as Rakesh rightly said, that this judgment is not in rem, this is in personam. Writ petition is for particular specific notice looking to the facts and of that case only. So to say it will apply across the board probably may not be correct, because a relief is granted to the petitioner and not to all. That's the issue. Though there is a judgment which says that this explanation is ultra vires, that's an issue or other issue. But now look at from the other aspect of it. Even if you go before the assessing officer, will he be accepting it? The challenge before, look at from the All India perspective, CBT, etc. In case the assessing officer in Delhi accepts it, he will not be able to do it unless the CBDT gets an instruction from CBDT. And if the CBDT says ki, yes, you accept it and you drop the proceeding, that CBDT cannot say only for Delhi, it has to say across India, because CBDT cannot take a stand only for one particular state and not for the state, because that is a policy decision. Now, in that case, the challenge before the assessing office CBDT, in the absence of any direction from the CBDT, irrespective of the fact whether it is a contempt or not a contempt, he will not be in a position to drop the proceeding, because once the proceeding gets dropped, it goes closed for all time to come on the point. And what will happen? The assessee has to pass through the all proceeding once assessment is passed. Howsoever bad it may be, it has to be got quashed by a process known to the law. So then again, one will have to knock either at state appeal or at the level of High Court also, give that this order is bad in violation of that. That's a scenario. Now see the other dilemma, which is I am raising it, the other dilemma with the department. In case this proceeding is taken in appeal before the Supreme Court, then whether the department will be in a position to reinitiate the proceeding where notices have been quashed. It will be a beneficial to the assessee. Having got this relief, now the question which will arise before the Supreme Court, there will be two questions, because High Court by interim order had stayed the operation of Section 148 notices. Now, once the department knocks at the Supreme Court and Supreme Court accept and they say that judgment is stayed, the judgment is stayed, the moment judgment is stayed, then automatically now interim order given in favor of the assessee stand vacated. And once this judgment is stayed, then 148 notice will get revived back immediately. And assessing officer will be duty bound to complete the assessment, and then time clock will start clicking again. In that case, the assessee will again knock at Supreme Court. And or assessee, when it is being done that you stay the judgment, they say you may stay the judgment, but you give us a stay, that proceeding will continue to be stayed. But otherwise, assessee will be in a dilemma. The judgment stayed and proceeding continue as for final. So Supreme Court has to be conscious of two facts. One, in case even they want to stay the judgment, they may stay the judgment, but they may in the meantime we say yes, the proceeding will also be stayed, so that there is no loss and no hardship to the taxpayer also. That will be another issue which will be coming up. But in that process, because I am looking from the merit point, even if the government goes to the Supreme Court, now looking to the way argument have taken place, the department has done it best for putting all contentions before the various High Court, whether it is Delhi High Court or Rajasthan High Court or Allahabad High Court, and even they are trying to push it in Punjab, Haryana and Bombay High Courts also. That is, we could not find out any reason, because it is an apparent mistake which has been committed by the department in this month of March somewhere. And as I see when Srivastava was speaking about how did it happen, looking to the way, because TPLG, Srivastava has a very long experience in the TPL. So I had the privilege of interacting with him a lot when he was there in TPL. See, it happened right hand and left hand. What has happened is on the issue. In order to ease of doing business, the PMO sent a directive that you please reduce the period of this opening of the assessment. So then they reduced the period, and nobody bothered that there is another law which is operating, and because of COVID extension is going on. And that train went from Delhi to Bombay. And meanwhile, there was another route of Bombay which was went not from this what we say Jaipur side, it went to Abatra, Agra, so it crossed it out. And one forgot that there can be an accident crossing it out. Surprisingly, can you notice that on 28th March, you are notifying the Finance Act, and at the same time on 31st March, you are giving a direction that you follow the new law. There was a notification which was shown to the High Court. They are saying that for reassessment proceeding, you follow the new law. Under faceless, they have issued a notification. So they forgot it. Having forgotten, and there will be so many 148 proceeding, because that system getting information getting escalated. Then there was a hue and cry to issue a notice, and now you don't have any way out except to fight it out, that we will fight it out. And even in fighting it out, if they go to the Supreme Court, another year will be missed out. because 13, 14, 14, 15 is clause as on date. 15, 16 can at best be 50 lakh rupees or more. And that to fulfilling the condition. If 31st March 2022 is crossed, which in the litigation before the Supreme Court, then it will cross. And secondly, in case department files an SLP before Supreme Court, then 148 again cannot be issued till the such time that SLP can be disposed of, because you cannot have two proceedings at the same time on. That you are litigating for the earlier notice, saying here my notice is valid, and then you are issuing another notice. There are number of judgment which has come on that issue. So it will be a catch 2020 position. The answer to their question will be that practical advice will be that it has to be knocked off at the High Court only. Earlier the better, because one should not lose the battle without fighting it out. Those people who are fighting it out, assessing officer, they need to, I don't think the assessing officer as on date will be in a position, and there will be a quick decision in board on this issue also, that tomorrow they may say कि assessing officer to drop the proceeding or to go to Supreme Court. Even going for Supreme Court, I don't think that tomorrow or next day they will come up. It may take time, and I am of the view, frankly, that one should knock at the High Court at the earliest to get it knocked off, and let's wait for future what happens on thereafter.
I've got 2 points to make. What Jayaswal has said.
श्रीवास्तव साहब से पूछ ले एक बार ये वाले पॉइंट के ऊपर. एक मिनट राकेश साहब, श्रीवास्तव साहब आपका क्या कहना है ये इस इशू के ऊपर कि जो ये डिसीजन है इसकी बाइंडिंग नेचर क्या है? Does it apply to people who have only gone into writ? Is it in personam or in rem? Is it a judgment, or is it only a decision vis-a-vis those 1,000 people who have gone into it? Yes. And what is the department going to do? Let's first restrict ourselves to this question only.
So one thing is certain. I mean, there is complete unanimity that these writ proceedings, they apply in persona only. I mean, there cannot be much debate on that proposition. But yes, a certain notification has been struck down. That's also a fact. And the consequences of that striking down by the jurisdictional court will have a bearing. But the question is, the assessing officer has no option left, because if the appeals are filed in the Supreme Court, which they will be, I mean, rest assured, I mean, I don't visualize a situation where the department can take that, let us accept all these decisions all over the country and let these assessments be quashed. I mean, this is too much to expect, because consequences are too heavy for the people accepting that kind of. So they will certainly file SLP before the Supreme Court. And once SLP is filed, then assessing officer has got to protect the interest of revenue. I mean, he will certainly not follow it with the observation, not showing any contempt, not showing any disrespect, but only pointing out his dilemma that once he is opposing the finding of the court before a higher forum, how can you expect him to follow it and accept it and then lose everything at the higher forum? What then he is going to argue before Supreme Court once he accepts the High Court decision in the proceedings? So that kind of situation can never be visualized as contempt of court. I mean, I'm sorry.
मेरा साहब आपका बिल्कुल आपने बहुत सही बात कही, लेकिन मेरा एक different view है, and I would like to place that before you.
बिल्कुल.
Sir, if the jurisdictional High Court passes a reasoned order quashing a notification being delegated legislation, because of which the operation of law in respect of the earlier section stops at 31st March 2021. Now the High Court, the powers of the High Court in terms of contempt, and contempt is not for punishment alone. They are pari-materia with those of the Supreme Court. And I will just, for the sake of our members, just read out. Your Honor, sir, there is Article 129 of the Supreme Court, which says the Supreme Court shall be a court of record. Article 120 of the Indian Constitution, Supreme Court shall be a court of record and shall have all the powers of such a court, including the power to punish for contempt of itself. The same wording is in Article
Court.
215 of the Indian Constitution, which says every High Court also shall be a court of record.
No
Now,
doubt.
what is a court of record? Court of record is that once a decision is passed, the entire matter, the entire material, the entire facts relating to that case, the decision so passed, the judgment so rendered shall remain with the court. And if anybody disobeys that, it is nothing short of contempt. Right? So this also gives the High Court the power to render a judgment which is binding in nature. Now, my point is, even in an appeal, who are the people in lists? There are only two people. That is the assessee, the petitioner, and the government, let us say. Even in a writ, in this case, it was the assessee and that. Now, what is the difference between a writ and a judgment?
No,
Now, suppose it was a judgment. It was a
I'm not
judgment and a
pointing out any difference.
So
Any
therefore,
difference.
what I'm saying is, in my view, my personal view, sir, the High Court having rendered a judgment, striking off the notification, it applies in equal force to those who are parties to the writ and those who are not parties to the writ.
No.
Equal force. Number one. Number two.
Ajay ji, I may
Yes.
just add two things to your point on this.
Yes, sir.
See, we must keep in mind the basic difference between judgment in rem and persona, even for the purpose of contempt also. Even for the purpose of contempt also.
Wait a second. Personam and judgment in personam and rem कब आती है साहब? अगर judgment में आपको एक specific relief आपके लिए हो और वो मानी जाए. लेकिन जब आप किसी all notifications, all legal actions all across the country have been quashed by way of a writ by the High Court in the past also. When they were quashed by way of a writ by the High Court, were they not binding on the subjects below? They were fully. In my view, sir, in my view, after this judgment, the assessing officer has no option but either to drop or keep quiet about it. He cannot.
What you are suggesting-
Ajay, in your support, Ajay, in your
What are you
support,
suggesting?
Ajay, in your
Ajay.
support,
Please, sir, एक second, sir. Rakesh sir is supporting me, sir. पहले उसको मैं बोलूँ. I would want him to, sir.
Ajay, in this support, now if your view is found not tenable, then day in and day out we argue in the courts based upon the decisions of the High Courts in writ petitions given in other cases. Then this is applicable, and therefore, and in certain situations, not to follow those decisions by the tribunal has earned ire and wrath of the High Court.
Absolutely.
What we
Here
are
it is squarely on the issue.
So therefore,
I'll
rem
just
and
finish, sir.
personam. Now, where does that rem and personam go when we argue in case of third person before the tribunal? That this is
Sir, may I intervene? Rakesh sir, may I intervene?
एक सेकंड Gaurav, I'll just finish and then you can start.
Yeah.
तो उसके बाद श्रीवास्तव साहब तुम दोनों को दे साहब इसमें मेरा ये कहना है कि एक बारी जब हाई कोर्ट ने ये कह दिया in respect of a central legislation, I will even go to the extent of saying that if a central legislation is knocked out by a high court, one solitary high court, it applies to the whole of the country. And there is a Supreme Court judgment in this way.
Ajay, you are
Yes.
missing a very vital point.
Yes, sir.
That forget about this persona and rem and all that. The point is that when revenue is a party to that all those proceedings, now you cannot take away the right of revenue to contest that decision of the High Court.
करिए.
Yes. So then you cannot say that no, you follow. But whether you go to appeal or not, you have to follow the decision. So that amounts to
ऐसा है
saying,
देखिए साहब.
that amounts to saying that
No.
you don't have any right of appeal.
साहब बिल्कुल ठीक है.
I'll just give one argument in support of this.
एक मिनट. नहीं सर देखिए ये लॉ भी बड़ी क्लियर है. Merely filing an SLP will not shake the order of the High Court. Right? It remains unless it is stayed. Unless it is stayed. तो अगर डिपार्टमेंट जाना है अपील पे जाइए ना, हमें कोई वो नहीं है. तो अगर स्टे होता है तो बात खत्म हो गई. लेकिन मेरा ये कहना है खाली by saying that हमको going forward, in my view, we should write to the assessing officer, bringing to light the judgment and say, sir, please drop the proceedings under intimation to us.
बिल्कुल ठीक है.
And
You can
if
write.
and if he does not do so, we can then lock the High Court and say कि साहब देखिए आपकी proceeding. High Court doesn't visualize कि अब 40,000 लोग दिल्ली में सब आएंगे उनके पास रिट में. They don't visualize this, having passed a decision, having been given a judgment. In fact, it will be travesty of justice that if all of us now go to the High Court and say कि साहब आपने जो रिट किया because it is personam हमारे केस में भी करिए. That is not
in 144B में
तो
दिल्ली
फिर आप-
हाईकोर्ट यही कह रहा है कि we have decided in some
अरे
cases
तो
or we have
एक
laid
मिनट।
down and asked the assessing officer to follow in other cases.
एक मिनट, इसी केस में छोड़ दीजिए भाई. इन दिस केस हर केस में हो रहा है कि व्हेन अर्लियर ईयर एसएलपी इज देयर और बाद के 15 सालों तक वो नहीं फॉलो करता है, सब पे कंटेम्प्ट फाइल करिए ना फिर. Why are we
I'll
not
just
filing?
अभी क्या था साहब, अभी सब क्या था, नहीं,
Let us
अभी
test
क्या
that.
था, अभी क्या था
थोड़ा
साहब
एक
कि
point-
पहले-
एक point मैं
एक
जरा-
मिनट, यार, एक करण, एक मिनट. इसमें क्या था साहब, पहले हम लोग कांपते थे क्योंकि
हाँ.
assessing officer से फेस टू फेस होता था.
So
अब
let us
faceless
test
है,
it.
अब रेट फाइल करेंगे,
एक कंटेम्प्ट फाइल करके टेस्ट कर लीजिए.
कर लेंगे सर. मैंने सियाली साहब से बात की है, एक में हम कोशिश करें, अगर एक में ऑर्डर आ गया तो इट विल अप्लाई टू ऑल.
यस यस.
साहब को मैं कह रहा हूँ, राकेश गुप्ता साहब आप रहिए, अब हम तैयार कर रहे हैं, 3-4 मैटर इकट्ठे करते हैं.
अजय जी,
अगर डीसी सर को थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट कर पाऊँ.
जजमेंट की सपोर्ट चाहिए तो कमलाक्षी फाइनेंस का एक
फाइनेंशियल सुबलक्ष्मी, हाँ कमलाक्षी है,
जिसमें बहुत क्लियरली लिखा हुआ है इवन सीआईटी अपील का ऑर्डर इज बाइंडिंग ऑन द असेसिंग ऑफिसर. व्हाट टू टॉक ऑफ हाई कोर्ट.
सर कुसुम इंगट्स एंड अलॉयज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बड़ा साफ कहा है कि ज्यूरिसडिक्शन क्या है रिट पिटीशन में. अगर रिट के अंदर एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनैलिटी या एक प्रोविजन नॉक ऑफ होती है, इट हैज टू अप्लाई. इनफैक्ट दे हैव गॉन टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ सेइंग, एज आई सेड, सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन को उड़ाते तो वो गई टिल इट इज स्टेड बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. तो
सर मेरा कॉन्सिक्वेंशियल क्वेश्चन है.
इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट बता दूं आपको कि जो इसके बारे में क्योंकि जो श्रीवास्तव जी वाले साहब की जो पॉइंट है कि जो डे इन डे आउट आज की डेट में भी आई थिंक रफली 30 to 40 writ petitions are being filed daily in 148. And had the intention like this, what we are discussing is probably the bench would have indicated you why are you coming to us, why now the judgment have been delivered and this you can go and knock at the assessing officer. So
144B में क्या कहा उन्होंने, जैसे
but in this case they are not saying,
they are not saying,
and they are not saying, so meaning they are also conscious is that department is not going to relax this heat, and practical view will be that you come to us and we will knock it off and let the department as a grievance go to Supreme Court until such time as Srivastava said. The challenge will be, of course, we agree that contempt can be made because it is binding, there is no second, but still practical view will be that it will be a difficult proposition until such time the government knocks at the Supreme Court. But I will still say, having worked on this issue for the last 4 or 5 months, which we all have been working, Rakesh ji, Salil ji, everyone, I could not find out what will be the argument before the Supreme Court on this point and what basis, because this issue has been thrashed out so much that they will be getting a stay on this judgment because they have to make out a good prima facie case that they have.
I'll just like to add something if we can to Srivastava sahab.
तरन एक क्वेश्चन मैं ले लूं फिर maybe you can add in.
पहले तो बोल दे गौरव.
मेरा वेद जी से क्वेश्चन है सर, जो इसमें फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द जजमेंट है where they declare the explanation to be ultra vires, isn't that judgment in rem and not in personam? The first part of the judgment where they declare the explanation to be ultra vires, isn't that finding in rem?
I will not say that the judgment in rem, frankly, that issue.
क्योंकि गाड़ी में कोई सामान रखा है तूने ले जाने के लिए.
अरे भाई आप ये बंद कर लीजिए प्लीज.
रमन जी
आपका गाड़ी से सामान कोई ले.
रमन जी आप प्लीज म्यूट कर लीजिए अपने आप को.
सामान रख दे नीचे और ये भी रख के आ जा.
नरेश जी, रमन जी, please. Yes.
Gaurav, I agree
Yes, sir.
with you because in many of the petitions, the party was Union of India, and one of the contention was that this circular is notification is ultra vires, and secondly, in some of the petition, it was that the explanation is ultra vires. Delhi High Court has struck down the explanation, whereas Allahabad High Court has struck down the circular itself. And they say that post 1st April 2021, you could not have issued this type of circular because you could have issued only for the new law, not for the old law. And that's why this circular is bad. So they have gone to that
Now,
extent.
जैन साहब, if circular इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने क्वेश कर दिया है नोटिफिकेशन, तो वो जो मैं उसके लिए कह रहा था दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट को लेके इलाहाबाद ज्यूरिसडिक्शन में, तो फिर सारे असेसमेंट बैड हो गए.
It can be there. No. See, clause A, not the explanation.
अच्छा, not पूरा
Clause
नहीं, ये तो
A.
दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने कहा है एक्सप्लेनेशन के बारे में। तो
हाँ, दिल्ली हाई
आप
कोर्ट
ये कह रहे हैं ना, इलाहाबाद हाई
नहीं,
कोर्ट ने तो पूरा की पूरा नोटिफिकेशन ही क्रैश कर दिया है।
नहीं, नोटिफिकेशन ही एक्सप्लेनेशन ऊपर वाला जो पार्ट है A.
अच्छा, फिर ठीक है।
उन्होंने रीड डाउन किया है
Now
actually.
coming to Gaurav, so your point,
हमारे बाहर
question of interpretation.
अरे भाई,
यहाँ से मैंने गाड़ी
रमन जी,
रमन जी प्लीज।
जी,
अच्छा ले लिया ठीक।
आपको म्यूट अपने यहाँ से करना पड़ेगा रमन जी को। See, Gaurav ji,
Yeah.
question of interpretation, कि whether on the basis of that explanation being struck down, whether it is a judgment in rem or persona. But by and large, the jurisprudence says that in writ petitions, civil writ petition, the judgment delivered is a judgment in persona, not in rem. That's the issue.
लेकिन भाई साहब, जब हम ट्राइब्यूनल में सीआईटी अपील में ये कहते हैं कि साहब उस जजमेंट जो रिट पिटीशन में दिया गया है, that should be followed in this
Yes,
case.
yes, I agree fully, Rakesh ji. There is no second thought. I am only on a
तो वो
literal
उसी ground पे करते
literal.
होंगे ना कि भाई ये रैम है, वरना तो
नहीं sir, not in rem. It is
Just a
the,
minute. Just a minute. See, there are two. See, judgment in rem, judgment in persona is the relief which is granted therein. Now, on that basis, there is another jurisprudence which say that when a judgment has been delivered on particular one aspect, that judgment is binding on all the which fall within that jurisdiction. That's a second
कह
jurisprudence.
कैसे भी लो, इफेक्ट तो वही है सर। कह कुछ भी लो, उसको रैम पर्सोनम कर दो, बट अल्टीमेटली तो इट कम्स डाउन टू दैट ओनली।
I think Vijayan sahab इस पे I think ये है
I can give it just a minute, 1 minute extension to that.
point ये है point
Why in this case it is one and the same thing? Because
Yeah.
the opposite side revenue is party to this. Otherwise, judgment in rem and persona, the difference is in persona both parties are represented and other party were not represented, so it is not going to affect it. But here in this case, that's why we say it has a ramification because the other party was there before the court. So other party now revenue cannot take a stand, and that's why here that thin line distinction between
Correct.
rem and persona get merged somewhere.
That's another very pertinent explanation. Therefore, Gaurav, your point is answered in
yes.
in yes, that yes, it is a judgment.
जैन साहब, राजेश जैन बोल रहा हूँ।
तो इसको अब अगले क्वेश्चन, इसको ई को छोड़ सकते
एक पॉइंट मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूं, just to support Srivastava साहब, that when such an assessment order is passed, let's say they pass an order respectfully saying that SLP has been filed, no doubt that order will get cured by the process known to law. But there are CBDT circulars on stay of demand. When they say that demand in such cases will not be recoverable because the jurisdictional high court is in your favor. My point is, in such a case, when the demand is stayed by the assessing officer, there will not be a willful disobedience to attract contempt proceedings. Because there he would have covered himself to save from contempt proceedings.
Taran, contempt will not begin on recovery. After recovery पे contempt नहीं होगा. एक सेकंड सुनो मेरी बात. Contempt तब होगा जब आप proceedings को चालू करोगे. अब अगर आपकी नोटिफिकेशन ही उड़ गई है और आप उस पे पेंसिल चला के आप मेरे को नोटिस इशू करते हो, ignoring the Delhi High Court and saying, look here, there may be a Delhi High Court removing, finishing off the notification, but I will continue to assess you. वहां contempt है, recovery पे नहीं है. So मेरा ये कहने का मतलब है कि अब after this decision having been passed, knocking off a notification, there is no way that the assessing officer can proceed. If he does, he can keep silent, and therefore the best way would be to tell him, to ask him कि साहब मेरे को 15 दिन में बताइए, आपने कर दिया इसको. See, day in day out 148 के notices withdraw नहीं होते. Once you give them an explanation, होते हैं, बहुत बड़ी होते हैं. Same thing will have to be done here. Revival की बात अलग है. Just because there is no procedure or procedure is difficult to revive doesn't mean they make an assessment. Today we are talking as students of law. As students of law, there is unanimity on this, that this has a binding force. They have declared the law doesn't exist.
Taran, recovery per stay may be a mitigating factor which assessing officer can press in order to avoid the wrath of the High Court. That may be different.
अब F पे आ जाएं, because E में तो ठीक है, वो तो
अजय
F पे आ.
Gaurav.
No, so sir, after the decision of Delhi High Court, there is a recent circular issued by CBDT, which has even been circulated, where they have laid down certain parameters asking the assessing officers to fill that information in the portal. The reason being, I think, is under the new provision of section 147, it is only in specific circumstances where there is a information as per the risk management strategy or the information from the CAG, internal audit report. In only in those two situations, 148 notice can be issued under the new provision. So possibly in order to comply that, after the decision of Delhi High Court, certain guidelines have been issued by the CBDT to the assessing officer to fill that information for two assessment years, that is AY 15-16 and AY 18-19. So my question is whether this circular is in order to overcome the decision of Delhi High Court, or is it an independent circular? And two, what is the reason for including AY 15-16 only in that circular and not the subsequent assessment years 16-17 and 17-18? 18-19, I understand that it may become time bar as per the new law by 31st March 2022. But why not 16-17, 17-18, and why only 15-16? So two questions: what is the reason behind issuing this circular, whether it has any connection with the Delhi High Court decision, and the reason for including AY 15-16? To Vedji first.
I think let me just clarify, Gaurav, it is a conscious circular, not because of Delhi High Court. And assessment year 15-16 and 18-19 is a conscious call on that part. See, you must notice, though this circular is going, this notification or what instruction or notification is a little beyond what has been stated in section 148, where they have explained what is the risk management strategy. But of course, they can say that risk management strategy is a very dynamic word, and whatever the information comes, that can be part of a risk management strategy. See, now as per the amended law, there are two provisions which are applicable on limitation. Section 149 talks of limitation only. 3 years in normal. So you are right, 18-19 circular has been issued with 3 years. And 15-16 has been issued with a rider. If you look at the not instruction, I'm just sharing you the instruction. What are these instructions? I will just share on the screen itself. The reason being is 15-16 is period of 6 years is getting time barred on 31st March 2022. So even after the amendment made by the Finance Act 2021 in respect of assessment year starting on or before 1st April 2021, the time limitation is 6 years. You proviso to the first proviso to section 149(1) makes it very clear. I can share you with that proviso also on that part. 149, what it says, proviso on that part says. If you just read it part, that can share. Or instruction. Meanwhile, act share.
So, sir, isn't the revised time limit 3 years after first 421?
There is a lot of confusion going on this issue, that after the amendment made by the Finance Act 2021, the revenue has got power to reopen the assessment for 10 years. But this power of 10 years is prospective, not retrospective. Now, this is the first proviso I will read out. You can see at the screen.
Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir.
It says, provided that, now this is very important, provided that no notice under section 148 shall be issued. Now, this is the word, at any time, in a case for relevant assessment year beginning on or before 1st of April 2021, if the same could not have been issued at that time on account of being beyond the time limit specified under the provision of clause B of subsection 1 of this section before the commencement of the Finance Act 2021. This proviso was also used as an argument before the Delhi High Court to say whether legislature intended to take the benefit or to refer to the old provision or to keep that provision alive. It has so specifically referred. So in this clause, it has been clearly stated that if under the old section 149(1)(b), which used to say 6 years, that period has also been kept alive. So here two words are important. No notice shall be issued at any time for the relevant year. Then no could not have been issued at that time. At that time means on 1st April 2021 at the time. So this notice could not have been issued. So that's why now you can see it. Now you come to the instruction, because the instruction also talks of this provision. Just look at the instruction which have been issued. So lot of call came to me that why it is not 1516 to 1819, why 1516 and 1819. It is specifically referred to as 1516. Even in the instruction you will read on the first line, it has been stated 1516 and 1819, and then assessing officer has been advised that please ensure that this provision, this second limb of the 149(1)(b) is adhered to. You have the instructions? Instructions?
15-16 तो 1 अप्रैल 2021
Yes, I can share. I can share.
15-16 सर 22 में जाएगा ना 6 साल.
I have shared. If
Yeah, can you go down a little bit?
yes, sir.
पहले तो मैं इसमें गलती बता देता हूँ साहब, टाइपिंग एरर. Para 2. As per the amended provision of section 148 of the Income Tax Act, the information which has escaped assessment has been defined. It is the income. It is not the information which has escaped assessment. It has been defined to include two categories of information: information which is flashed in accordance with risk management and final audit. Now, for effective implementation of risk management strategy, the Central Board of Directors, in exercise of power, so and to direct assessing shall identify the following categories of information pertaining to assessment of 1516 and 1819, which may require action under section 148 for uploading on the verification report upload functionality. नीचे चलना जरा गौरव, submit कर. Now, this is the clause which is now para 5. As per provisions of section 149(1)(b) of the Act, in specific cases where the assessing officer has in his possession evidence which reveals that this income escaping assessment represented in the form of asset amount or is likely to amount to 50 lakh or more, notice can be issued beyond the period of 3 years, but not beyond the period of 10 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. Further, the notice under section 148 cannot be issued at any time in a case for the relevant assessment year beginning on or before 1st April 21, if such notice could not have been issued at that time on account of being beyond the time limit prescribed under the provision of clause, as they should immediately. As per explanation provided to section 149, the term asset shall be so and so. In view of the above, it is directed that the information pertaining to assessment year 1516 which require action shall be identified and uploaded on the VRU functionality on inside as per so and so. The meaning thereby 1516 is a conscious call taken because this is the time barring provision. 1617 on subject to fulfilling the condition will get time barred next year, 1718 next year.
सर 1516 कैसे टाइम बार? वो 2026 में होगा, वो
22 में होगा, 22 में होगा सर.
22
में पुराने लॉ में होगा, पुराने लॉ में. लेकिन
पुराने लॉ में प्रोविजन ने प्रोटेक्ट कर दिया उसको.
नहीं सर, जो प्रोटेक्ट किया है वो 14-15 नहीं खुल सकता है, 15-16.
नहीं साहब, देख अगर आप वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ, आप अगर अभी मैं सेक्शन पढ़ाता हूँ, सेक्शन पढ़िए प्रोविजन वाला.
हाँ
खोलिए.
I think जैन साहब की बात सही लग रही है.
Provided that no notice under section 148,
no notice under section 148 shall be issued
at any time
in a case for the relevant assessment year beginning on or before 1st day of April 2021 could not have been issued at that time on account of being beyond the time limit specified under the provision of clause B of section 140 subsection 1 of this section whatever before the commencement of the Finance Act.
Yes. So sir, वो तो commencement of the Finance Act का मतलब हुआ assessment year 14, 15, 31 मार्च 2021 को बाद.
नहीं, meaning thereby the idea is read two word.
Yes sir.
Provided no notice under section 140 shall be issued at any time. At any time. At any time. At any time का meaning हो गया आज.
हाँ ठीक है, 1 अप्रैल मान लो आप.
आज मान लो.
हाँ चलिए, हाँ ठीक है.
In a case for relevant assessment year beginning on or before 1st day of April 2021.
ठीक है.
Negative clause में चल रही है.
हाँ.
In case such notice could not have been issued at that time, मतलब आज की डेट में. It could not have been issued today. on account of being beyond the time limit specified under the provision. आज की डेट में 6 साल ऊपर हो गए तो आज की डेट में वो नोटिस इश्यू नहीं हो सकता था ओल्ड प्रोविजन।
सर वो तो 14-15 का नहीं हो सकता ना,
15-16 का नहीं, इसीलिए तो कह रहा हूँ 14-15 का नहीं हो, 15-16 का 31-3-22 तक ही हो सकता है ना। 1 अप्रैल 22 को तो नहीं कर पाएंगे ना इश्यू।
इसीलिए
नहीं बट 10 साल का टाइम तो उसको मिलेगा ना, 15-16 का 2026 तक।
गौरव, जैन साहब ने बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से ये एक जो बात कही है, ये ऑर्डिनरली जो नया सेक्शन आया है ये प्रोस्पेक्टिव इन नेचर है। 10 साल जो काउंट होंगे वो 1 अप्रैल 2021 से होंगे, बिकॉज इट इज प्रोस्पेक्टिव इन। ये जो प्रोवाइजो से दे हैव सिक्योर्ड द लास्ट 6 years, 6 साल के आप बियॉन्ड नहीं पीछे जा सकते। ये प्रोवाइजो की वजह से 6 साल बच गए आपके, गवर्नमेंट ने ले लिए, तो ग्रैंडफादरिंग होगी फॉर द लास्ट 6 years।
सर पर ग्रैंडफादरिंग
लेकिन
भी
आप
अप टू AY
2026 में आप 2026 में जो 10 साल एक्सपायर होंगे आप 15-16 नहीं खोल सकते बिकॉज ऑफ दिस प्रोविजन।
सर 15-16 एक्सपायर नहीं हुआ था ना 21 को, ग्रैंडफादरिंग हुई है जो एक्सपायर हो गए 21 को।
इसलिए 2022 तक आप खोल सकते हो कि 6 साल आपको अवेलेबल है 2022 तक। 14-15 के साल आपके खत्म हो गए थे 2021 में।
जो वेस्टेड राइट 15-16 का था वो तो छीन नहीं सकते थे ना वो।
1 अप्रैल में 14-15 के 6 साल हो चुके थे, इसलिए आप उसको पुरानी प्रोविजन में हो कंप्लीट हो गई तो खोल नहीं सकते। तो इन्होंने बड़े सही तरीके से ये बताया।
That is why I have the opinion कि SLP फाइल करने के बाद डिपार्टमेंट will run into a serious difficulty on this issue also because limitation will get expired year to year.
Yes.
And that's why they are consciously now this instruction clearly confirm the interpretation which I am saying that this is the interpretation of the board, and that's why they have referred कि 15-16 you please take care and immediately start working on this.
ये जैन साहब इतनी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चीजें करते क्यों हैं? सीधा सीधा नहीं लिख सकते यार।
सर अगर अजय जी, if I talk in simple terms, if I read 147 to 151, I think Rakesh ji bhi and Srivastava sahab bhi endorse. Despite reading this provision day in day out, अगर इसको एक पेज पे सिंपल लिख देते हैं ना तो बहुत कुछ हो जाता। एक जगह लिखते हैं स्पेसिफाइड अथॉरिटी, एक जगह लिखते हैं प्रिंसिपल कमिश्नर, एक लिखते हैं प्रिंसिपल चीफ कमिश्नर, सब्जेक्ट टू 148A। और इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट जहां लिखा डीम्ड सजेशन दैट इनकम हैज एस्केप्ड असेसमेंट, एट वन टाइम दे से सर्च केसेस, deemed search cases, deemed document and survey, and then later on again they repeat, they say for 148A search will not be applicable, survey का जिक्र नहीं। Who will read which section? Day in day out we are reading this and we are able to collate why it is happening so.
अच्छा साहब, श्रीवास्तव साहब, so would you agree, endorse what Vincent साहब
ने 100% विंसेंट साहब ने बहुत इसको अच्छे ढंग से एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है। Except only thing I'll point out that this circular is dated 10th of December. जजमेंट
15-12
दिसंबर को है, that 15
तो ये उसके पहले
उसकी वजह से नहीं है ये, ठीक है।
ये उसकी वजह से नहीं। अच्छा तो बात ये भी खत्म हो गई कि उसकी वजह से नहीं है ये नॉर्मली, और अगले साल आपको 16-17 का आ जाएगा, उसके अगले साल
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
18-19 तो खत्म हो ही गया, तो 2 साल और इसकी ग्रैंडफादरिंग चलेगी, उसके बाद आपका ये कार्य समाप्त हो जाएगा। तो मेरे
सर नेक्स्ट नहीं बस एक क्वेश्चन और है सर मेरा। जो नोटिसेस क्वैश हो गए हैं maybe by way of a writ petition in this order or subsequent orders, whether in those cases automatically the AO will get power to issue notice under the new provision, or he will have to make some additional compliance to issue notice on the same issue, whether he can issue notice automatically by virtue of the decision of the Delhi High Court, or will he need to make some additional compliance to issue notice by following the new procedure under the new law?
I'll just add to what Gaurav is saying. Issue can we take that the issue is relevant over here because High Court ने तो सिर्फ notice quash करा है।
I can answer in one line only. The High Court order is very clear. In case the law permits, so he has to follow the law of today. He has to comply.
And even if High Court had not said this, then also it is implied. So if it can be done, it can be done.
और इसमें एक और चीज ये है, जैसे बीच में I think राकेश जी ने अभय जैन जी ने दोनों में से एक में बताया था that if he has to apply the new law, he has to drop the earlier proceedings. Parallelly दोनों नहीं चल सकती. So he has to first follow the High Court and say कि जी मैं इसको drop करता हूँ, मैं नया लेता हूँ।
ठीक है।
That's all.
नहीं सर, इसमें मेरा point of view ये है कि as per the new law, now the old concept of recording reasons to believe has gone. he has to issue notice on the basis of information, and that information is restricted as per the risk management strategy or the information thrown by the CAG audit. So for issuing new notice, there will be a condition precedent of
Yes,
this
yes,
new
yes.
information.
All
So
new law will
automatically,
apply.
just
All new law
by
will apply.
following the new procedure, he cannot issue the notice on the same reasons.
Yes, yes. He
No,
will have to
that
go
is
to explicit-
that is exactly why some assessees might like to go through the CIT appeal route than to go to High Court to avoid that 148A.
अरे यार
यार तुम क्यों ऐसे क्यों यार तुम
अच्छा चलो तो
सारी
आपका-
कहानी में तुमने यार
Karandeep, in the lighter vein, what Ajay ji said earlier, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, you are arguing for whom today?
तरन तुम्हारे पकड़े हम चरण हैं?
पता है क्या चक्कर क्या है, इनकी दुविधा ये है कि ये तो प्राइवेट है और इनकी बीवी गवर्नमेंट में है, तो अब ये आधा डिपार्टमेंट
Or on serious note, to answer your point, the risk management strategy is not a legal term. It is the risk management strategy as formulated by the Central Board of Direct Taxes.
अभी तक बनी नहीं है.
And you can see in this
नहीं
instruction,
वो तो
it is
बना
not a
सकते हैं
computer
ना।
generated. They have referred to information which comes to the assessing officer. In this instruction itself, if you read this instruction, can you show this on the screen? Can you read out this all what type of?
नहीं वेद जी जो 3 साल के बियॉन्ड अगर आप इसको खोलोगे तो इट हैज टू फ्लो थ्रू द असेसिंग ऑफिसर. हाउ इज दिस फ्लोइंग थ्रू द असेस? तो व्हाट दे आर सेइंग इज असेसिंग ऑफिसर को पहले इंफॉर्मेशन देंगे, फिर वो डालेगा और फिर आप उसको यूज कर सकते हो 3 साल के बियॉन्ड. बिकॉज़ इफ इट इज नॉट कमिंग थ्रू द असेसिंग ऑफिसर, इट कांट इवन बी ओपन.
Can you go down little bit?
एक मिनट में ऊपर रहता हूँ. इसमें इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ये है कि वो इंफॉर्मेशन हैज टू बी अपलोडेड ऑन द
नहीं, वो
वेरिफिकेशन
तो
रिपोर्ट
uploaded-
अपलोड फंक्शनैलिटी ऑन इनसाइट पोर्टल.
अब व्हाट इज दिस मीनिंग? ये इंटरनल इनका अपना पोर्टल है जिसपे जिसके पास जो इंफॉर्मेशन वो अपलोड कर देगा और दूसरा उठा लेगा उसको फोन करके कि भी तू उठा ले इसको.
इसका सिंपल सा एक ही पर्पस है, टू टेक अवे द डिस्क्रिशन फ्रॉम द असेसिंग ऑफिसर. उसको एक सेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिसी के तहत रीओपन होंगे तो होंगे, नहीं तो नहीं होंगे. वो ये एक है, उसका पर्पस वही है कि स्ट्रेटजी ऑल इंडिया बेसिस पे फॉर्मुलेट होगी. दैट्स ऑल.
और उसका पर्पस सर ये भी है कि इस बात पर झगड़ा ना हो. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्राइटेरिया है, वो रीजन टू बिलीव पे कोर्ट तक जाती थी. अब यहाँ पे भैया ये इंफॉर्मेशन है तो ठीक है, नहीं है तो ठीक है.
But one thing, can you take off now, Gaurav?
Stop sharing.
One thing, yes. One thing I can just tell you, this is going to be a Pandora box and a bonanza for all tax practitioners. Now there will be 3 assessments. One will be 143.2, and within a period of 3 years, another 148A, and then of 10 years, what we call search seizure and that income escaping assessment. This is 148A is not going to be reassessment, what we call a income escaping assessment. It is going to be a verification assessment.
Yes.
And in roughly, I believe now 1,30,000 notice have been issued in 148. With this model, by 31st March 21, at least 10 times of this notice will be issued. So much information will be uploaded on this portal, and you will find what a mess is going to be
चलो
created.
आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर, मैच क्या है, सबके लिए फायदा ही है हमारे लिए.
रिलीफ
जितने होने करो. ये तो
50 लाख
litigation, they want to finish off litigation and
Srivastava ji, let's hear Srivastava ji.
नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ 50 lakhs के नीचे वालों को रिलीफ है. बाकी
नहीं साहब. Within a period of 3 years also, AIR is putting so much information. I can give you an example, just like a person having a salary income of 5-6 lakh rupees, if he buys a flat of say 20, 25, 30 lakh rupees, there is no column in the tax return to declare that I have bought a flat. Now,
अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं ना, इसलिए अपॉर्चुनिटी में
4 lakh rupees, investment is 20 lakh rupees.
नहीं तो उस अपॉर्चुनिटी जब दी,
मिलेगी वो बता देगा.
अपॉर्चुनिटी में जब वो एक्सप्लेन कर देगा तो बात खत्म.
148 का नोटिस तो आएगा ना सर.
हाँ,
वही तो कह रहा हूँ.
हम तो होंगे.
हम हो गया, that is what I am saying.
जैन साहब ने ये बात इसलिए भी बोली है क्योंकि 50 लाख से ऊपर के केस ही इनके पास आते हैं ना, नीचे वाले नहीं आते.
हाँ ये बात.
नहीं, पर एक चीज है, बट ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, देयर इज प्रोटेक्शन. जैन साहब, जिस तरह पिछली बार की जो पहले प्रोटेक्शन होती थी रीजन टू बिलीव वाली, व्हिच वाज कोर्ट नोटिफाइड, आई मीन कोर्ट एडजुडिकेटेड प्रोटेक्शन, ये प्रोटेक्शन बाय लॉ है कि आप जो नोटिस आएगा उसको आप चैलेंज करेंगे. वो चैलेंज भी ओपन होगा टू स्क्रूटनी, ओपन होगा टू रिट, ओपन होगा टू द हायर अथॉरिटीज, एंड देयरफॉर इट्स अ सैल्यूटरी प्रोसेस. ऐसा नहीं है कि वेरिफिकेशन के लिए खाली करेंगे. खाली आप वेरिफिकेशन करें तो ड्रॉप होगा.
Just a minute. So far approval is concerned, 148 experience is very clear. I am my as I understand, when the approval is being taken, it is in wholesale. And had that been so, the 148 notices would not have been, or reopening would not have been quashed by ITAT in so many cases. The approval which will come on the last day, the senior officer will have no option but to sign it.
चलिए सर, ये तो
last question, Taran, please raise last question.
Sir, last question
right
hai, can now we expect a retrospective amendment? And I had a thought in my mind, if I can just add to it. What if the legislature now brings an amendment in 148A, deferring its applicability from 1421 to 1422? Will that mitigate the High Court ratio for at least 1 year to save all those old notices? That's what
again, that will be contested. That will be contested.
Because I don't find any उनका रास्ता मेरे को नजर नहीं आ रहा क्या retrospective amendment. I don't think उसमें कुछ कर पाएंगे.
Tarandeep, when I was explaining the petitioner contention, one of the point I have said the vested right. When in a procedure law, nobody has a vested right, but under a procedure law, if a law of limitation comes into play, then a vested right is created. CB Richard Ellis is a judgment, typical judgment on that part. And in that case, I always give a very crude example to everyone. When a patient is alive and it goes to a doctor, the doctor by giving medicine or injection or surgery can extend the life of that patient to unlimited years. But by the time doctor reaches to the patient, if the patient is dead, by no medicine or injection or surgery, the doctor can revive that patient and extend the life of that person. Same is the law here. If a law of limitation has come into play, today 13, 14, 14, 15 stand closed for all purposes under the law itself. Under the law itself. So by no stretch of amendment, this can be taken away, except what we call a revalidation proceeding, which was done in the case of Vodafone, which I believe may be not an easy exercise to be done by the Parliament legislation. That's my view.
But
Taran, I can also remind you of decision of Delhi High Court in Brahmdat in 147 proceedings for non-residents. The years of reopening was expanded to 16 years. I think this CB Richard decision was only followed to say that whatever has expired, the revised time limit of 16 years cannot be roped in. So I think that law of limitation will prevail, and even Parliament will not have power to revive the dead.
Validation law cannot be brought in. I think
जो जैन साहब ने proviso की interpretation दी है for 15-16, this is the very argument which is going to help us.
Yes, sir. Srivastava sir, do you have anything to add on this?
No, except that when the court itself says that if permissible under law, so now if 148, new 148 applies, it will apply. Otherwise, it don't. Simple सी बात है, वो case to case basis पे examine होगा. अगर वो करना चाहेंगे तो, I don't know. But
सर खत्म करते हैं सर.
हाँ, खत्म करिए.
आपका कोई दूसरा सेमिनार होगा सर?
नहीं सर, आज फ्राइडे है ना सर.
Oh, I understand. तो उसमें वोट ऑफ थैंक्स आप दीजिए गौरव. कमाल का हमारा जो प्रेजेंटेशन रहा है इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा उल्लेख कीजिए.
No, I think wonderful presentation. The topic was hot. There was a lot of confusion surrounding this decision. First, I would like to thank Vedji for such an elaborative and elucidating exposition of all the three decisions from three different high courts. A lot of clarity was given by Ved sir, and then supplemented by Dr. Rakesh Gupta ji and Mr. Srivastav, and further answering on supplementary various questions, whether the notices will stand automatically quashed or a separate writ petitions will be filed. So I think it was a wonderful session. All the luminaries of our ITAT bar were there to address our queries. I thank all the three experts to spare their time and coming and giving exposition on this important topic. So over to you, Ajay ji.
नहीं, thank you so much. Thank you, साहब. मैं तो always we are indebted to our experts. They are so willing, so forthcoming. इतना time उन्होंने निकाला, इतना बढ़िया उन्होंने deliberation दिया, हमारे सारे issues को resolve किया. Thank you so much. लेकिन with a promise, तभी आपको छोड़ रहे हैं that अब 148 ये जो अब आने वाला जो एक स्लॉटर होने वाला है, जैन साहब, राकेश गुप्ता साहब और श्रीवास्तव साहब, महीने भर में आपको दोबारा रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे। इसके जो इश्यूज आने वाले हैं, जो प्रीएम्प्टिव, जो खुद सोचने चाहिए, जो किस तरह से चैलेंजेस लेने चाहिए हम सब लोगों को, वंस दीज थिंग्स स्टार्ट टू हैपन, फ्लो इन, उसके लिए आपको हम दोबारा निमंत्रित करेंगे, एंड आई एम श्योर यू विल oblige. Thank you very much, everybody.